Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leading Through with Billy Island. I'm always excited that you join us. I know that your time matters, your life matters. And so anytime that you invest into your leadership by watching Leading Through with me, I'm so grateful. One of the things I'd love for you to do is to tap that subscribe button and go ahead and click the bell for notifications. And share this content with as many people as you can. And oh yeah, we'd love to hear a comment from you. Today, I'm going to be talking about leadership pipeline. And the reason most organizations have a leadership deficiency today is because they didn't build leaders yesterday. The answer is not to get more leaders. The answer is to build a leadership development culture. And so the reason for a leadership pipeline is development clarity. A pipeline provides clarity for how an organization builds its own leaders from the ground up, indigenous. And so this gives you an opportunity to have a succession plan. There is no success without a successor. A pipeline helps with succession in all roles because leaders are being developed in every area of the organization. When a role is open, whether staff or volunteer or leadership, pipeline helps ensure that others are ready to move on up into that role. Or when someone goes on vacation or has a family emergency, they won't be missed because someone can step in and fill in their absence. Instead of reactively scrambling to fill a spot, a leadership pipeline helps leaders think proactively for the future. And it helps also with organizational expansion. Expansion becomes challenging and unhealthy without a leadership pipeline. You need more leaders than you need and more resources than you need to expand and to respond to the opportunities that you have in front of you. Organizations are multiplied when leaders are discovered, developed, and deployed. So how do I create a development pipeline? How do I get a pipeline of leadership? Well, first of all, you want to define pipeline levels. Define the pipeline levels for your organization. This isn't the same as defining all of your department roles. These are broad category levels that your department roles will fit under. So you want to define responsibilities also. Each level of leadership in the pipeline should have one or two sentences that gives a broad definition of their responsibility. Also, you want to define the departments. Every organization has different departments, even churches or ministries. List out all the departments in your church, and the goal is to create a leadership pipeline in every department, where every department is discovering, developing, and deploying leaders in a systematic way. Also, you want to define roles. Each department has various roles that fit in each area of this pipeline, and every department lists the roles and go ahead that you currently have and begin to see how you can expand and grow and make it clear. So how you help practically to develop leaders will impact your organization. So you want to discover, what kind of leader are you looking for? That's a good question. You have to clarify and clearly know because if you don't know what you're looking for, when you see it, you'll never know if you have it. And so there's non-negotiables. You have red flags, spiritual character, red flags. It's very important not to violate those non-negotiables because those non-negotiables, if you violate them and ignore them in these warning signs, you'll put yourself in a really big mess. And don't do it even if you're desperate. It's easier to develop a skill than to overhaul a spirit. It's easier to hire than to fire. It's easier to go forward than backwards. So at least quarterly, one of the things you want to ask your leaders are, who are the people you're actively recruiting to join our team? And who is ready today to assume your role if we need to promote you? One of the things that's very important is publicly giving people homage and acknowledging them. And we want to celebrate them over and over again. So after you discovered someone, you need to develop them. If you don't develop leaders today, your team will not be stronger tomorrow. If you aren't intentional and aggressively developing leaders, naturally you'll attract who you are. You attract who you are, not what you want. While you are the chief recruiter in your team, every leader on your team, you're the chief recruiter. If you're the leader, you're supposed to be recruiting people. They have circles of influence. You have circles of influence. Every leader does. They need to have a mindset that I take ownership for the growth of my team. So what you want to do is define success. There's no success without a successor. And when is the best time to develop your leaders? Every single day. But you have times where you talk annually, where you give them an inspiration. You talk about the why. You keep the vision around them annually. Then you give them information. This is what they need to know in order to win. Then you want to appreciate them. Never miss a chance to say thank you publicly and privately. So every year you want to talk about vision. You want to talk about what a win is. Then you want to thank them and focus on the past quarter sometimes. So when you meet annually, you can talk about what happened the past quarter and last year, and you want to talk to them monthly and weekly. So how are you developing your leaders? How are you encouraging them? I've already talked about encouraging them publicly and privately. You know, sometimes you can do it with handwritten notes, timely texts, a shout out on social media. Develop their ability to do the following. This is what I want you to develop them to do. Live above their emotions. Emotion can never trump the mission. Mission brought me here, and emotions don't have the permission to cause me to leave. Never measure eternal success with earthly eyes. You're making more of an impact than you realize. Sometimes you just can't see it. And so what you want to do also is value longevity. Longevity is a leader's best friend. So you want to be patient. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a month and underestimate what we can do in a year. So keep your team encouraged. I'm telling you, a pipeline is what we all need in order to have a healthy organization. What you want to do is you want to see potential and call it out. Help them build on strengths and accountability and accommodate for their weaknesses. Some people have gifts they completely are unaware of. When you help them see those gifts, it will change their lives forever. Some have never had anyone to care enough to help them identify their weaknesses. They think they're good at something that they're not. So give them tools and resources like books and podcasts and articles. And then you want to ask yourself, how are you challenging your team? Great leaders want to be pushed. Don't allow them to get stuck being underutilized. Great leaders despise mediocrity. Constantly think of how to multiply the influence and impact great leaders. Challenge them to reproduce themselves in other leaders. Explain how your team needs more of what they have. Affirm and challenge. Don't allow your habits to go unchecked. Don't allow their habits to go unchecked. Confrontation can be a harsh thing, but many people think that. But you want to create a culture of development. Don't make the mistake of sowing seeds and more seeds in a driveway. You want to make sure that you get the best ROI. Some investments are wiser than others. You put people on your calendar and you may invest 1 hour and then you get 25 hours worth of work just because you impacted them for 1 hour. So you want to make sure that you can identify wise investments. One of the ways you can identify a wise investment is they show up. They show up, they're consistent, they're there, they meet you, they listen. They don't have a know-it-all spirit. They have a teachable spirit. They actually learn. They're not problem causers or problem dodgers or problem finders, they're problem solvers. And then also another good investment is you see that they apply. They do something with the information you give them. They move from information to execution. And then another way is you see them coming back for more. They want another meeting. They want to hang out again. They want to identify some other areas they can grow in. So development. Also, you need to deploy. So discover, develop, and deploy. Deploy. Stay dialed in with the progress that you see your leaders have. Promote leaders who are excelling in their role. When you bring someone onto a team or promote them to be a team leader or a coach, to Be sure that they have an effective onboarding process. Let me tell you what that means. Clarify their values, the role, the expectation, measurable wins, and let them know no success without a successor. Do a week or a 30-day review, and you want to make sure to always get this. A leader who is discovered and a leader who is developed but not deployed isn't leading anything at all. I want to make sure you get that into your spirit. A leader who is discovered and developed but not deployed isn't leading anything at all. We want to get a pipeline. What is a pipeline? A pipeline clarifies the department. It clarifies the role. It defines a person's role in an organization. And then you always want to pitch. There's no success without a successor. If you don't have a successor or someone you're developing, you are not being successful at all. I always challenge my team. Put people on your calendar. Make sure people are on your calendar, because if people aren't on your calendar, then you're probably not developing people. So what do we want to do? We want to discover people that are gifted. We want to discover people that don't know that they're gifted. And we want to speak life into them. We want to encourage them. We want to identify their strengths and help them see their weaknesses so they can accommodate those weaknesses with their strength. Once we discover them, we want to take out time. We want to develop them. Now, remember, you want to have a wise ROI. You don't want to keep on throwing seeds over and over into a driveway. You want to make sure that you're getting a return on the investment that you're making. So as a leader, you always know that being real is better than knowing everything. Being authentic is better than being unaware. And so when you come and connect with us, I really want you to really share this with other people, digest the content, process it, so you can not only discover where you're at, but you can develop, and then you can deploy and make a difference in this earth. You know, leaders always make things better. They're not problem dodgers. They're not problem causers. They're not those type of individuals. They're not even problem finders. They are problem solvers. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. It means the world to me if you would rate, review, and share this content wherever you digest it, and make sure that you get the word out, because I'm telling you, we need more leaders impacting the world. And you are a leader. Everyone has leadership in them because everyone has influence.